Many claim the MX Master is the best productivity mouse, but with so many alternatives out there, is it still the best option? Today, we're putting it head-to-head with its biggest copycats and its predecessor, the MX Master 3S, to see which one is actually worth your money. We've tested them across 12 real-world categories. In each category, we'll award gold, silver, bronze, or a death skull. Let the games begin. Let's start by presenting the contenders. On this corner, we have the Tecknet TKMS029, which you can find for as low as $20. Then there's the Keychron M6, which you can get for $69, although there are cheaper versions up to $39, depending on the sensor that you choose. Then we have the MX Master 3S, which officially costs $99, although you can get it for $89 easily. And finally, we have the Logitech MX Master 4, which has a recommended price of $119. Now, let's get to business and start with the unboxing and what's included in the box. The Tecknet comes in a quite cheap cardboard box, and you'll find the mouse inside wrapped in bubble wrap. But it includes the Earth dongle and a USB-C cable, although the cable is quite cheap too. The Keychron M6 comes in a much nicer box with all the specs outlined around it and an even nicer box inside. Plus, it includes a lot of accessories: a braided USB-C to C cable, a USB-A to C extension adapter for the RF receiver, and of course, the RF receiver. The Logitech 3S also comes in a nice box, but inside you'll only find a USB-C cable for charging. It doesn't come with an RF receiver, although the mouse is compatible with the Logi Bolt receiver, which you can get for around $15. In the box of the MX Master 4S, you won't even find a cable, although depending on the version that you buy, you will get the Logi Bolt receiver. There's a universal version and a Mac version. Both cost the same, but the universal version comes with the Logi Bolt adapter. The only difference between both versions are the colors. The Mac versions have special Apple colors, such as space black or silver white. But it's really difficult to tell the difference between that and the standard graphite and white. And both will work on Mac and Windows, so you're paying a Mac tax for the color. Okay, so let's give the first medals. Both MX Master mice are going to receive only a bronze medal because not including the RF receiver or the charging cable is just absurd. The Tecknet receives a silver medal because even though the packaging is not great, you get everything that you need: a cable and the receiver. But the gold medal goes to the Keychron because you're getting absolutely everything that you need and more. Let's move now to connectivity. The Tecknet offers Bluetooth 5.1 with up to 2 devices and, of course, RF. There are buttons in the back to turn the mouse off and on and switch between the different modes. As a bonus, there is a slot in the back for the RF receiver, which is something that I miss in the rest of them. The Keychron offers Bluetooth 5.3 with up to 3 devices and, of course, the RF connectivity. And you can also use it wired. When you connect the rest wired, it will only be for charging. They will still work wirelessly. There is a button in the back to switch between RF, wired, and Bluetooth, and also to change between the different Bluetooth devices. The Logitech Master 3S and the Logitech Master MX4 have Bluetooth 5.1 with up to 3 devices and RF connectivity. They both have 2 buttons in the back, one to turn it off and on, and another one to switch between Bluetooth devices. It's time now for the medals on connectivity. I'm going to give a bronze medal to the Tecknet because it only has 2 Bluetooth devices and Bluetooth is 5.1. I'm going to give the silver medal to both Logitech MX Masters because they have 3 Bluetooth devices, but it's only Bluetooth 5.1. And the Keychron receives the gold medal because Bluetooth is 5.3. It's now time to talk about sensors. The Tecknet has a standard 125 Hz refresh rate and DPI up to 4800. And you get a button to change between 6 DPI settings that go from 800 to 4600. The Keychron has the best sensor by far. You can get it with up to 8000 MHz refresh rate and 30,000 dpi. But even if you get the cheaper versions, they come with 1000 MHz refresh rates. What I don't like so much is that the buttons to control the DPI and the refresh rates are on the back of the mouse, and the UX is not great. You need to consult the web page to know what each light means. Then there's the MX Master, which both have the same sensor. The refresh rate is just 125 Hz, and the DPI goes up to 8000. The problem is that you cannot control the DPI with any button on the mouse. You need to change that on the app. And if you don't have the app installed, you will be stuck with the default 1000 dpi. So, as you can imagine, the Keychron M6 gets another gold medal because of its magnificent sensor. The Logitech MX Masters both get a silver medal because the DPI is better than on the Tecknet that gets a bronze medal. So far, it looks like the Keychron is sweeping its rivals. But wait until we talk about switches. The Tecknet offers quite silent and smooth switches, especially for a mouse this price. They become slightly harder to press once you try to press them closer to you, but it's totally okay. The switches on the Keychron, even though they are not too loud, they are inexplicably scratchy and wobbly. It's like there are multiple presses happening at the same time. On top of that, they are very difficult to press near you. It's almost impossible. On the other hand, the switches on the MX Master mice are silent and smooth. The best by far. You can press them far away and close to you without issue, although they have a history of developing misclicks over time. In fact, this is the second MX Master 3S that our video editor Anna has gotten because the first one started developing misclicks on the left click. Despite that, I'm going to award the gold medal to both MX Master and the silver medal to the Tecknet. And for the Keychron, I can only award a death skull because those switches are terrible and you're going to be clicking them thousands of times every day. Let's move now to another critical feature, the scroll wheel. MX Master mice are known for the infinite scroll wheel, which you can just throw and it will keep rolling, and that is super nice. Whee! They also have a button to change that scroll wheel from infinite scroll wheel to normal scroll wheel with steps. That is something that is missing on the cheaper Tecknet. The scroll wheel is just a normal scroll wheel, and the button here, as we explained, only changes the DPI. Keychron, however, has managed to recreate that infinite scroll wheel pretty nicely. And you can also change between the normal scroll wheel and the infinite scroll wheel with this button here. However, this button is annoying to press. It's wobbly, clacky, and you don't really want to press it. But despite that, the scroll wheel feels like the infinite scroll wheel from the MX Master. So I'm going to award gold to both MX Master mice, silver to the Keychron because of that button, and then bronze to the Tecknet because it has a normal scroll wheel. Another key feature of MX mice is the lateral scroll wheel, which is great to navigate spreadsheets, timelines, and much more. Once again, the Tecknet has a normal lateral scroll wheel with steps, which is not great. Plus, it's a bit too high, so it's difficult to reach. However, it's even worse on the Keychron. Just as it happened with the Keychron M5, which you can check in this other video, the lateral scroll wheel is super hard, and it's kind of tucked away, so it's also difficult to find. It's super close to the buttons and it's hidden. Then there is the MX Master 3S, which has a really smooth lateral scroll wheel, and the only problem is that it's a bit tucked away, so it's not as easy to reach. This problem is solved in the MX Master 4. You can notice that the scroll wheel is now placed in kind of a ridge, so it protrudes outwards, and now it's super easy to reach it. As you might have deducted, I'm going to give the gold medal to the Logitech MX Master 4 the silver medal to the Logitech MX Master 3S, the bronze medal to the Tecknet, and another death skull to the Keychron, because that lateral scroll wheel is just useless. But those are not the only buttons. All of these mice have additional buttons. The Tecknet, for example, has 2 additional buttons, forward and backward, which are surprisingly easy to find and press. They are really light. I like them quite a lot. The problem is that none of the buttons are programmable, but we'll get to that later. The Keychron has the same 2 buttons, but they are super hard to press and super difficult to reach. They are super close together and they don't protrude enough from the surface. The MX Master 3S has the same forward and backward buttons and a third button that you can press with your thumb on the thumb rest, which in my case activates mission control, although you can program that. The forward and backward button are easy to find, but a bit difficult to press, and the thumb button is both difficult to find and difficult to press, so you don't end up using it. Finally, there's the MX Master 4, which includes an additional button here and a reworked thumb button with haptic feedback, so it vibrates when you get a notification or when you activate it. This button activates a contextual menu with additional functions that vary depending on the app that you're on. This third button also offers additional features. By default, if you press it, you activate mission control, but if you hold it, you can move between desktops or show the desktop, which you can also customize. Based on these additional buttons, I'm going to award gold to the MX Master 4. Silver is going to the Tecknet because those lateral buttons are super easy to press. Bronze to the Logitech MX Master 3S. And another death skull for the Keychron, because those lateral buttons are useless. To wrap up buttons, let's talk programmability. As I mentioned before, the Tecknet doesn't have programmable buttons, although you can use third-party apps to do that. Better Mouse for Mac, Solar for Linux, and for Windows, the outdated X-Mouse button controller. However, that customization will work only on those computers where you have that software installed. If not, the buttons will have the default behavior. The Keychron, on the other hand, has built-in memory, so you can configure the buttons via a web app, and the configuration will be stored on the mouse, and it will be kept on the mouse. So wherever you go, you will have that configuration without installing anything on the computer. That's a great feature. The MX Master mice don't have that. You need to install Logi Options Plus to configure them, and that configuration will only work on the computers where you have Logi Options Plus installed. Alternative, you can use the apps that we mentioned before to customize your mice. Relying on an app that runs on the background is not great. You might remember the Logi Options debacle on Mac, when an expired certificate made the app unusable and all the configurations went back to default. As you can imagine, for that reason, I'm going to award gold to the Keychron. Silver goes to both MX Master mice, because even though an app running on the background is suboptimal, that option is still there. And finally, the Tecknet will receive bronze because there is no app, although you can still use third-party apps. Next up is battery. The Tecknet has a 700 mAh battery, the Keychron an 800 mAh battery, the MX Master 3S a 500 mAh battery, and finally the MX Master 4 has a 650 mAh battery. In this case, gold goes to the Keychron, silver to the Tecknet and the MX Master 4, and bronze to the MX Master 3S. But in practice, all of them have a big enough battery to last months. Regarding weight, the Tecknet weighs 98 grams, the Keychron 87 grams, the MX Master 3S 141 grams, and the MX Master 4 a whopping 151 grams. That's a weight difference that you're going to notice, not when sliding them around, because all of them have good skid plates, but when you want to lift them to reposition them. These two feel light enough, but the Logitech MX Master feel heavy to move around. Some people prefer heavier mice, but we are going to give gold to the lighter one, the Keychron, silver to the Tecknet, and bronze to both the Logitech. It's now time to address one of the most critical categories, ergonomics. The Tecknet tries to copy the shape of the MX Master 3S, more or less, and it kind of accomplishes it. However, it's a bit thinner if you compare them. It's a bit thinner on the top, and it does a weird thing where it bends outwards. So it's not as comfortable when you place your hand on it. It tends to fold, and it has a really comfortable thumb rest. Finally, the Tecknet is a bit tall up the front compared to the MX Master, and that makes it a little bit less comfortable. But overall, it's a pretty comfortable mouse for $20. That is something that I can't say for the Keychron. It's super narrow compared to the others. It's taller here at the hip, so it pushes your palm, and the thumb rest is much smaller. That means that you kind of need to grip it. So instead of simply resting your hand here, you are forced to grip it, which makes it far less comfortable. The MX Master 3S and the MX Master 4 are very similar, although they have small differences. The thumb rest on the 4 is a bit larger, but that's to make room for the haptic button. The one on the 3S, even though it's smaller, it's just as comfortable. The other key thing regarding ergonomics is the accessibility of the scroll wheel, which we've already talked about. The one on the 4 is so much easier to reach than the one on the 3S. Knowing all that, I'm going to award the gold medal to both the MX Master 4 and 3S, the silver medal to the Tecknet, and another death skull to the Keychron, because it's just uncomfortable to use. Finally, let's discuss construction. The Tecknet is covered all around by a grippy surface similar to the one on the 3S. This surface, even though it's comfortable, is a magnet for grease and will become sticky over time. You can already notice that after using it for a few weeks, it's already developed a little bit of a mark where I rest my index finger. This one is gray, but it's available in other color combinations. The Keychron is made of plastic all around, so it won't become sticky over time, but the surface is not nice to touch. The MX Master 3S has a similar problem to the Tecknet. It has a grippy surface where you hold it, and that surface will become sticky over time and even completely degrade. This mouse only has a few months, but if I bring the one that Anna used over 2 years, you can see that it's completely destroyed. There isn't even something missing there and doesn't even look like the same mouse. That's something that Logitech addressed on the MX4. The surface where you place your hand is now made of plastic, similar to the Keychron, but instead of being super smooth, it's micro-textured. So you can feel that when you place your hand, and it's much nicer, but it won't become sticky over time like the Tecknet or the MX Master 3S. The buttons are also slightly different, both in construction and in material. The ones on the 3S are smooth and shiny, and the ones on the 4 look more matte and will likely develop less shine over time. Another new thing of the 4 compared to the 3S is that now you can access the screws on the back to disassemble it. Before, they were hidden under the skid plates and you needed to destroy them in order to open the mouse. That's something that also happens on the other mice. There are no visible screws. I would consider that to be a good thing on the 4. So, construction-wise, I'm going to award the gold medal to the MX Master 4, the silver medal to the MX Master 3S, and the bronze medal to both the Tecknet and the Keychron. And we're done testing. It's now time to count the medals and see which one is the winner. The Tecknet has 6 silver medals and 6 bronze medals. The Keychron has 6 gold medals, 1 silver medal, 1 bronze medal, and 4 death skulls. The MX Master 3S has earned 3 gold medals, 5 silver medals, and 4 bronze medals. Finally, the MX Master 4 has earned 6 gold medals, 4 silver medals, and 2 bronze medals. The clear winner is the MX Master 4, but remember, it costs $120 and weighs 150 grams. If you are looking for something cheaper or lighter, I would consider the Tecknet. For $20, it's comfortable and light, and even though it has that grippy surface that will become sticky over time, it's only $20. If you want something as comfortable as the MX Master 4 and you don't care about the sticky material and the haptic button, get the MX Master 3S because you can get it for over $30 less. Finally, we have the Keychron M6, which has great things going for it. It has a much better sensor and onboard memory, but the ergonomics, the clicks, the lateral buttons, and the lateral scroll wheel are just terrible. So I would not recommend it at all. If the sensor is something critical to you and you want something with a similar shape of the MX Master, look at something like the Logitech G502 or the discontinued G604. They have a polling rate of 1000 Hz, which is not 8000, but that's enough for most people. So what do you think? Is the MX Master 4 still king? Or are you going to go for any of the alternatives? If you have tried any of these, let us know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified the next time we publish videos like this one. Until the next one!